Ladies, when a woman's unchecked low self-esteem becomes a threat to your well-being, a threat to your life, you have to beware of that woman and act accordingly. There are some women who want to get close to other women simply so they can play the victim. They do this because they're threatened by the assertiveness of that woman. They're threatened by the confidence of that woman. They are maybe threatened by the lifestyle and or position of that woman. Never have I seen before that being a confident, assertive, not aggressive, accomplished, or pursuing a goal kind of woman makes you a target and a threat for jealous, envious people, and specifically jealous, envious, low self-esteem having women. I saw a comment recently in my comment section in regards to the manager at McDonald's and unfortunately what happened to her from one of her employees. And I've been looking at this issue from all different angles. It was first said that the manager was bullying this woman, but one of my commenters, one of my subscribers, one of my loyal subscribers, beautiful subscribers that I appreciate, she made a point to say that what I don't understand is if this manager was a bully, why was she close to her? Why was she hanging out with her? Why was she getting close to her kids? And the more research I do into this woman who actually took her manager out of here, she's no longer with us, the more I begin to see that this woman was preying on this manager. I'm not negating the fact that this manager might have had some bully tendencies or the way she was dealing with her she did not like. But when a woman has low self-esteem, and the more things I see about this woman that goes by the name of Risen Phoenix online, but her name is Afeni Muhammad, I believe, in real life, the more I do research into this case, the more I see that this woman, not only was she highly dangerous and a threat to this manager, but she may have been threatened and felt jealous of the position this manager had. So putting aside the fact that this manager, the way she went about things, or maybe the way she spoke to other employees might not have been the way she would have liked it to be. But this brings up another point, that's not just for this situation, but for many women. If you're a woman that's in a position of power, a position of influence, if you're very sure of yourself as a woman, there are some women who are simply not going to like you because you exude confidence and assertiveness. And when you are a confident and assertive woman, anything that you say to a woman who has unchecked low self-esteem will come off as a personal attack. Anything you say and or do will be perceived as a threat from a woman who has low self-esteem. If she is jealous of the fact that you are assertive, that you are confident, and you might be in a position of power, or you're a person she has to answer to, such as a manager, or you're a part of an organization, a sorority, you're in a class club, what have you, she will be threatened by you simply because you have power, assertiveness, and confidence that she does not possess. This is not just for this situation, because true as it may be that some women can come off as bullies, some women have that bully, obnoxious energy. Sometimes women who have low self-esteem and are easily threatened and intimidated by other women, they will always perceive another woman bullying them, or another woman doesn't like them, or another woman is somehow coming for them simply because she's assertive, confident, and she does not tiptoe around other people's feelings. Being a feminine woman in the queen energy, you understand that you can be kind, not nice. And sometimes to women who are used to other women tiptoeing around them, they're used to women acting in a very mousy, very unsure of themselves way. If you are not that kind of woman, you may be perceived as being arrogant, cocky, or thinking that you're better than other people. And that's where the potential crash out from the woman with the predatory behavior, the low self-esteem having woman with the predatory behavior, comes in. What do I mean by predatory behavior? Going back to the situation with the McDonald's manager and the employee, I came across pictures. I didn't even recognize the woman who did what she did I didn't even recognize her because she was dressed up. She had regular color hair. She had on a dress and she was posing next to the manager. I don't know if it was during holiday season or what have you, but they were posing together. There was words online saying that she actually met the kids, gave them food. She was hanging out with them. This woman was doing these things knowing full well she did not like this woman. She did what many jealous, envious, insecure, low self-esteem having women do. They try to infiltrate your circle and get close to you so that they can have something to hold over you. This woman, and this is my opinion, but how I perceive it from a full scope of the situation from this angle, it appears that this woman not only was preying on this manager simply because she did not like how she operated, she did not like how she spoke or what have you, but she used that as an opportunity to try to get close to her so that way she will have more reason to justify the inevitable, what she wanted to do to her. Ladies, that's why I always speak about guarding your circle and being aware of the people you have around you and not being ashamed to acknowledge that certain people just don't need to be around you. It's not that you're thinking you're better than other people, but overlooking the cues that somebody might be potentially about to crash out on you, that they're so low self-esteem having that they lack confidence and they hate your assertiveness and your confidence so much so that they are about to play the victim in the relationship, in the friendship, in the situation, in the work employee conversation, or, in the workplace environment. I have seen so many women being made out to be predators, being made out to be bullies, when they are simply confident and assertive women who do not tolerate disrespect and do not allow people to tell them the sky is yellow when they know it is blue. There are some women, because they have low self-esteem, they want you to have low self-esteem. They want you to be the type of woman that will believe anything, go along with anything, and let them do anything that they want to do to you. And when you are not that kind of woman, you will be deemed as problematic. Now, I'm not backtracking saying that maybe this manager, going back to that specific situation, I'm not backtracking saying that this manager might not have had some issues with how she spoke to her employees and the way she tried to maybe intimidate them into submission. I'm not backtracking on that because I truly believe, just from my own personal experience of having many female managers, that sometimes they do use bullying and intimidation and they come off very harsh in order to get you to feel intimidated into listening to them. But what I am saying is that sometimes that can be misconstrued as being bullying when it is just being a woman who's being assertive and she wants you to do what I need you to do, especially if you are a woman who might be a manager, supervisor, CEO. A lot of times you rule with feminine grace, feminine leadership, but you very much have that queen energy. And women who have low self-esteem, they are not used to the queen energy. They are not used to a woman walking in the room and commanding it. They're not used to a woman walking in the room and not flinching because she's around other women. They're not used to a woman vocalizing her thoughts, her opinions in a graceful, respectful way and letting everyone hear simply because they are not like that. Normally, women who have low self-esteem and like to play the victim toward a woman who is confident, assertive, and can still be feminine, they look at you as if you are problematic simply because you're not overlooking certain things that they want you to overlook. See, women who have low self-esteem, unchecked low self-esteem, and don't be ashamed if you are struggling with or have struggled with low self-esteem. As women, especially as we go through those formative years of going from adolescence to adulthood, your preteens, your teenage years, you go through times of having low self-esteem, not being sure of who you are. Even as grown women, we have insecurities sometimes and we have to kind of check ourselves and work on our personal development. I'm not shaming a woman who struggles with or has struggled with low self-esteem. But women who have unchecked low self-esteem, and they look to be a victim to a woman who's doing nothing to them, because that's what it comes down to. Women who are confident and assertive and don't tiptoe around the low self-esteem of other women, when they're sure of themselves, they've done the work, they've done the spiritual and personal development to be the kind of woman they are today and still working toward becoming even better. Women who have low self-esteem will always perceive you as a threat to them. They will always see you speaking in an assertive way, in an assured way, as somehow thinking that you are somehow better than them. And it's because they feel inferior to you. This woman, when I look back at the videos, I got her point, but I also heard the low self-esteem in her voice. The way she said, "Who are you? What are you trying to do? What are you trying to do?" All while still being around that manager, taking pictures with her family, taking pictures during the holiday season. You see, one thing assertive, confident women don't do, and this is another thing that women who lack the confidence and have low self-esteem hate, we don't fake nice with other people. We don't purposely put ourselves around women we do not like simply because we're trying to keep the peace. We do not try to appease and appeal to a woman we perceive as being a bully, hoping that somehow she will start being the way we want her to be. We just remove ourselves from the situation, or we deal with it in the way we know how. The number one sign that this young lady and a lot of women who have low self-esteem, and don't let this be you, a lot of what they do is shrink down and tolerate things that they should not tolerate. This woman felt insecure around this manager. I'm pretty certain that this manager was very assertive, very confident. She was in the position as a McDonald's manager for 15 years. In order to be in a leadership role wherever, you have to possess a level of confidence and assertiveness to maintain that status for such a long time. Did she maybe let it go to her head? Maybe. But the point is that she had the confidence, assertiveness, and leadership skills to keep her in that position for such long time. And this woman, instead of her removing herself from that environment, she did what many women who have low self-esteem do. They try to get close to the threat in order to bring them down, in order to play the victim. Women who have low self-esteem, they will stay in a situation a lot longer than they should, or they will tolerate disrespect and murmur and complain about it on the internet to themselves, to other people, instead of making a move. Women who get jealous of other women, women who get threatened and feel envious of other women and the assertiveness and confidence that they possess, instead of getting away from the woman, they will stay around the woman who is a threat to them. They will act in predatory behavior that says, I don't like the fact that she's confident. I don't like the fact that she's assertive. I don't like the fact that she has this position and I have to do something about it. Their low self-esteem will not have them look inward at what they can change. They just want to bring down the threat and crash out. And that's the place that as a woman, you can never allow yourself to get to. See, women who have confidence, assertiveness, self-worth, self-love, self-value, women who have a spiritual connection to God, they understand that you are not going to put up with things that you don't necessarily have to for longer than you have to. And they understand that they don't have the power to change other people, but they can change their environment, they can change themselves, and they can get up out of there. But a woman with low self-esteem, she's always trying to appeal to the women she does not like. And women with queen energy, with the feminine, assertive, confident energy, we don't do things like that. We remove ourselves from the threat. But when a woman has predatory behavior, when she wants to surround herself with the people she does not like in a guise to seek revenge and come after them, ladies, you have to beware. And sometimes it's not anything that you're doing. It's simply because women have so low self-esteem. If you are confident, too confident, they will perceive you as a threat and they want you to change. They want you to shrink down. This woman got close. Excuse me while I sip my coffee. This woman was taking pictures with this manager. She was, doing multiple shifts. I don't know about you, but if it's somebody I don't like their personality. I don't like how they come off. I don't like how they do their job. If you have so many things about a person you don't like, you don't surround yourself with that person. Even if it's a job, you start looking for another job during your work hours. Get on Indeed. I understand this is McDonald's, so she couldn't have done that. Look on your phone. Save those jobs for later, so when you get home, you can apply to those jobs. Confident women, assertive women, we make moves. We don't sit there and complain about everything we don't like and hoping that our bully or the threat will change. No, we want them to change, but we get up out of there. But women who have low self-esteem, unchecked low self-esteem, they start partaking in predatory behaviors that says, I feel uncomfortable in her presence, so I have to do something to her to get her to stop being so confident and thinking that she's up there, that she's over me. It's very competitive, predatory spirit, a very much competitive, predatory nature that women who always feel like victims against women who are confident, women who self-assured, who possess assertiveness and not aggressiveness, who possess kindness and not niceness. Women who have low self-esteem, they don't know how to receive and be around that kind of person. It's because their low self-esteem tells them that everybody should be scary, everybody should be talking around issues and not speaking directly about things. Everybody should always be mindful of the feelings of other people. And while as feminine women, you are very mindful of the feelings, you come off with grace, you want everyone to feel great, but not if it requires you to shrink down and be lower than what you know you are as a woman. And I'm not talking about being conceited or arrogance, because I know some people can misconstrue that. But to a woman who has low self-esteem and feels jealous and easily threatened by other women, anything you say, any way you act will be perceived as being conceited. I told you all in the live about the young girl who walked into a room full of women. I don't know if they were on a reality TV show or what have you, but she walked in the room. She didn't say a word. She just walked in with confidence, and that rubbed some of the hyenas the wrong way. The woman asked them, like, you wanted to talk to me about something, and the girl was like, first of all, we're not going to do this in front of everybody. Now, bear in mind, these were young girls. They had to be in their 20s, but you have some grown women who act the same way. This young girl said to her, well, I like you. You're cute. I just didn't like how you walked in the room. And she's like, how did I walk in the room? And the girl said, you walked in the room like, What she meant is that she walked into the room with too much confidence. She didn't walk in the room looking around like the other women were intimidating her. She walked into the room as if she was the only one there, like confident women do. It's not that you're walking in like, look at me, look at me. You're walking in as if, okay, I belong here. And women with low self-esteem, unchecked low self-esteem, and who are easily threatened, intimidated, and jealous of other women, they don't like a woman with that level of confidence. They want you to walk in and be like, hi everybody, hi, how are you, hi. It's almost as if women prefer, some women who are easily intimidated, jealous, and feel threatened, have low self-esteem. It's almost as if they can only befriend women who are unsure of themselves. And if you are a woman who is sure of herself, confident, and not going to tolerate any kind of slick little backhanded remarks, you're setting the tone for how people should treat you, put it that way. If you're a woman, because see, Women with confidence and assertiveness, they set the tone for how people treat them. So they don't come in trying to appeal to women they don't like. They come in focused on themselves, being confident and focused on whatever they're doing. And women who have low self-esteem, when they sense that about you, I think it's some kind of mental or psychological defect that tells them, get close to her so I can bring her down to my level. Get close to her so I can somehow stop her from being who she is. And even if the person they're trying to stop happens to be a negative person, a nasty person, a bully, women who are confident and assertive, once again, we don't get around women we don't like, we don't care for, they rub us the wrong way. We don't get closely connected to them so we can play victim, crash out, and do something to harm them, be it mentally or physically. That's, I must say, loser behavior. There's no other way to say it. That is absolutely loser behavior. When you want to be in close proximity to a woman just to bring her down, that's a loser. That's loser mentality. And women who want to do better for themselves, better for their families, they just want to be better women. If you sense a threat, something or somebody you don't like, you get away from them. You don't try to appeal to them. And I also saw another commenter, one of my loyal, lovely subscribers. She answered the question and said, you know, when my other subscriber said, I don't understand, if she thought she was a bully, why did she get close to her? Why was she taking pictures with her family? You know, all that. And the other subscriber said that sometimes, you know, when you're being bullied by a woman, you try to get close to her, you try to appeal. She said something to the effect of, you try to appeal to her humanity. You try to appeal to her as a woman. And I get exactly what she was saying, because in a lot of my videos, I mentioned about showing grace and showing mercy to women who come off as threatening, not threatening, but jealous and envious of you. Sometimes they're just dealing with things and they need somebody to hear them. They want, somebody to see them. So you try to appeal and, be merciful and, kind of pity them. But there are some times when you can't do any of that. Trying to appeal to the humanness of a bully, someone who has shown you over and over again of what they're about, all of that has to go out the window. You can pray for those people. You can hope that they change. But when they become threatening to your well-being as a woman, you don't surround yourself with people who may potentially harm you, people who you feel are a threat to you. But a woman who has low self-esteem, and my subscriber, please know I'm not talking about you. I'm just referencing this comment because it proves a point that sometimes as women, if you believe and you don't really understand about how wicked and how deeply rooted in demonic, spirits that bullying can be, you will sometimes think that you can appeal to a woman who's a bully, a woman who might be some kind of threat to you, and get her to change. I don't mess with those kind of spirits. And if I feel, once again, women who are confident, assertive, and I believe spiritually connected, you do not play with wickedness. This woman who ended up doing the horrible thing she did to the manager, if she felt so threatened and intimidated by this woman, she should have gotten out of there, stayed away from her, looked for another job, cut down her hours, what have you. She had choices. But when women have low self-esteem, sometimes they feel like they have no choice other than try to grovel for the praise and admiration of the woman whom they are, quote, threatened by. Women who are confident and do not have low self-esteem, we are not trying to get into the good graces of our bully. We're not trying to appeal to the humanity of a woman who's giving us a hard time, especially if she's doing it over and over and over again. We just don't operate that way. Pray for her, forgive her, get away from her. But crash outs, predatory behavior women, they'll be around you even if you're not a real threat to them. But sometimes your confidence and assertiveness is enough of a threat for a woman who has low self-esteem to make her want to do something to harm you. Ladies, what it all boils down to is that you must have confidence, assertiveness, and discernment enough to know when a woman does not like you, she is not your friend, and she's only trying to be close to you so she can bring you down to her level. We don't play with those predatory behaviors, those predatory spirits. And when a woman is threatened and intimidated by your beauty, by your tenacity, by your assertiveness, by your confidence, anything you say or do oftentimes will be perceived as a personal attack. And if you're in a position of power, such as a manager, supervisor, CEO, it may be difficult for you to tiptoe around the feelings of a woman who is highly sensitive, in the sense that because you are who you are, because you're confident, because you're assertive, because you're beautiful, because you carry yourself like you know that, don't be surprised if you have a crash out in the making. If you have someone who may be trying to victimize you by playing the victim, all because they're intimidated by how you operate. Sometimes women can be bullies, but sometimes women just have that low of self-esteem where they don't realize they're allowing their insecurity to perceive a woman in a way that she is absolutely not. Don't play with these bullies. Don't play with jealousy and envy. Keep your confidence, keep your assertiveness, but also keep your spiritual discernment so that you can recognize when somebody's only getting close to you because they're trying to bring you down to their level. All right? Have you gotten the book, How to Be a Feminine Woman, The Blueprints, Girl on Girl Wars, a book on jealousy and envy, and How to Detox from Toxic People? All three of those books are available in ebook or paperback form on Amazon. Get those books. Like, subscribe, and share. And if you watch this video until the very end, put the high heel emoji in the comment section. I absolutely love to see it. Take care.